The Ghost of the Bell Tower. Happened in La Villa de Carrión, today Atlixco, Puebla, Mexico, around the year 1768. One early morning in the year 1768, approximately 17 years after what happened in this story, on a date on which the work on the new tower of the Spanish parish had been completed, today the parish of Our Lady of the Nativity. The sound of the bells of this church caused surprise among the Spanish neighbors, since they occupied the center of the city to live and the popular Indians or Mexicans lived on the outskirts of the center, according to history. It would be approximately 12 at night when at that moment this sound was heard. The priest Don Antonio de Oliveira came out in this Villa de Carrión, accompanied by the priestly sacristan, named Joseph Garcia Carballo, who went to the guard, and all together they went up to the bell tower to see who it was. The funny one who rang the bells at that time of night to stop him. Several neighbors were already at the doors of the parish to find out what the ringing of the bells was about, but what would be his surprise that there was absolutely no one ringing the bells in the bell tower. From that night onwards this dark sound of bells began to be heard. Neighbors, clerics and authorities concluded that this was a paranormal phenomenon, asking the Visitation Convent in Villa de Carrión for help so that Fray Joseph Jimeno, who was known for practicing exorcisms, could solve this problem. Being 12 at night, the time when a supposed ghost was ringing the bells, he went up to the bell tower alone to get in touch with this paranormal phenomenon, which he clearly heard as someone digging into the wall on the stairs, at the same time that the bells began to ring by themselves. And what was Friar Joseph Jimeno's surprise when he saw a diabolical-looking figure scratching the wall with his nails, to which the clergyman asked him in the name of the Lord to identify himself and tell the reason for his appearance. With a deep and dark voice he said his name was Juan del Toro, a bell ringer and resident of the Villa de Carrión, commenting that on April 4, 1768, the date that everyone remembers of the great earthquake that hit this region, the tower had collapsed at the same time. That he was preparing to ring the bells, being buried in the rubble, and it was 17 years later that they rebuilt the church, but no one saw that his body was destroyed by the collapse, and that is why he asked for a Christian burial. One day after this terrible event, the body of Juan del Toro was rescued and buried in the Pantheon of the El Carmen Convent, later military barracks, and until today, February 2024, Atlixco Museum, place of many horror stories. This horror story is found in the archives of the Convento de la Visitación, today the Church of La Merced, currently located on Avenida 3 Norte, historic center of Atlixco. This document is supported by the signatures of people such as Miguel Rodriguez de Alcañido, famous goldsmith of that time, who he and his brother were persecuted by the Holy Inquisition, saving his life thanks to the relationships he had with the clergy, according to a historical document in our power. His lifelong friend, José Luis Moreno R.